to create this particular video. We're called. However, today I wanted to do something more detailed, something more beneficial, something more educational for the beginners. That means this is for the person who doesn't even have the products, for the person who just starting out, for the person who may want to start this as a business and you don't know where to start. Well, this is what we're going to go over in this video. Well, that's what we're going to go over in this video, and we're going to begin with a few things. So I used to own a body butter business, but I still make body butters. Body butter is something that I always wanted to create. I've wanted it to create it for years, and I kept putting it off, and eventually I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead and do this, because why not? We talk about fake, we talk about that, right? So I decided to take the leap and do it. One of the things that kind of stopped me in at the beginning was being able to do it, thinking about how I would afford it. But then after a while, getting into it and figuring out the ins and outs, I realized that you have the ability to start it without having to put in a lot of money up front. And I wanted to show you how this is going to be a series, so I'm going to show you different things that you can do to create this, to make your body butter business the best that you can do with what you have. So this one is creating your signature body butter, and what you would need to do to create your signature body butter. Whew, that was a mouthful. Ooh, sorry, I hope you're hearing me. One of the first things that we want to go over is your base ingredients for your body butter, right? So when I say base ingredients, you're probably wondering what I'm talking about. What I'm referring to is your base item that you're going to use, your base product. What is the main thing that you're going to use to create your body butter? And if you hear the name of it, you have an idea. The base that you're going to use is a body butter, a butter. So to create a signature body butter, the first thing that you need to have is a body butter, a butter. And we can go from, like, there's multiple different types of butters that you can use, but we're going to go over some of the main ones. And a few of those include, let's say, shea butter, mango butter, cocoa butter. Those are like the main butters that you can use to create a body butter, and the main ones that I would suggest to use to create your signature body butter, because of the values that they provide. And you can mix these with other things as well. It doesn't have to be those. You can mix them with other butters, right? So I'd like for you to think about that when you're thinking about a signature body butter. Think about the main butter that you'd like to use, right? So the butter itself is a necessary part of creating your signature body butter. So don't forget that that's like your key ingredients, because what is a body butter without actual butters, right? If you're here, say hi. Thanks for joining. No, I don't. I mean, you can send me here on YouTube, but I don't have that right now. Thanks for joining. Please like the live if you're here. Okay, so let's get into the next thing. The next ingredient that you want to have to be a part of your body butter, your body butter formulation, is your carrier oils. Your carrier oils are the next, like, the main ingredient that you want to take into account when thinking about creating your signature body butter. Why? Because the carrier oil can make or break the body butter. If you're creating a signature body butter that is supposed to be moisturizing, you have to choose the oils that you're going to put into this body butter wisely, because you might put in a oil in it that dries out quickly. You might put in a oil in it that doesn't do what you want it to do. You might put in an oil in it that isn't as beneficial as you think it is, or it just doesn't work. The synergy doesn't work with the butters that you're adding to this oil, right? So you want to think about that. Sorry. And then, for example, some oils that I would say would be a bit light if you wanted like a deeply moisturizing body butter, like safflower. I like safflower, but safflower oil would be too light for a body butter. Why I say that? It seeps into the skin really well, but I wouldn't put it into a body butter. I put that in something on my face because of how light it is and the texture that it has. And some people like grapeseed oil as well. Now, if I wanted something like heavier, then I'd go for avocado oil. That's a heavy oil. Castor oil, heavy oil, and even apricot kernel oil is a oil that I think underrated, but also a bit heavier as well. So you can think about those as well. If you're here, say hi. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for joining my live. I do appreciate that. And definitely, if you're just passing by, like the live. If you're returning, keep watching. All right. So the next thing that we want to go over is additives. What would you add to your body butter, right? Like what would you add to, give it that extra humph? What would you add to create that extraness that you're looking for? And additives can range from herbs, essential oils, powder, etc. to so much more. And the first thing that we want to go over is the essential oils. Essential oils can range from, just using it for scent or a combination of essential oils, right? Those are pretty good. And you can create that yourself. This is a bit bright on my eyes. Okay, great. So essential oils, you can add the essential oils inside of this for inside of your body butter oils based on the benefits. You can add essential oils inside of your body butter based on, the properties that you're trying to achieve in the body butter. You can add essential oils for different things, various amounts of things, but the most important things you want to do is blend the essential oil properly. That's one of the main things you want to do. Make sure, say, you blend them properly. And adding essential oils to your body butter actually takes your body butter to a different level, like a completely different level. It upgrades it a lot. Even though you can use, like, set of herbs. Let's say you want to use lavender, right? Lavender essential oils. You can add lavender herbs to it. However, the herbs might be a bit much for your body butter. So you go ahead and get the lavender essential oil. This oil will allow you to add in the similar. Oh, it's good. This oil will allow you to add similar properties to your body butter without having to use actual dried herbs and having that in there with the flaky feeling, right? So you want to think about that as well. You can also infuse your oils. So you can create and infuse, like calendula. There's calendula body butter, but most of the time it's calendula infused oil that they use, and then infuse the body butter inside of it. Add this infused oil into your whipped body butter, and that way you'll create like an infused body butter, so floral infused body butter, just by infusing the oils. I do have a video that I created with infused oils on how to make infused oils. You can make it with using a crock pot. You can make it using the stovetop method. You can make it using, the regular way, like, the old school way where you leave it for about 4 to 6 weeks and pack it up and let it take its time. So you can think about doing that as well and see if that's something that works for you. Just choose which one works for you, but just know there are options when you're thinking about adding different additives to your body butter. It's like not a one size fits all. It's what works for you. Is there any questions? Anybody here have any question? If not, that is fine as well. Just let me know if you have any questions. You can say hi. You can like the video as well if that works for you. Or if you're just passing by, you can like the video. Thanks for being here. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna go on to is sorry is what you want to think about when adding additives, oils, and butters to your body butter, right? Reason why I say that I don't think that a lot of people, when people make body butters, I don't, because it's such a popular thing to do, I don't think people take certain things into consideration. And one of the things that I want to discuss is, like, pitfalls with body butter. And you can think about, like, let's say you're making a body butter and you want to sell it to everybody, but think about people with allergies, right? Sometimes when you add nut oils into your body butter, it doesn't, not all customers can use this because some people have allergies. So you have to think about, allergies. You have to think about skin sensitivity. So this is why when you create a body butter, you have to have, warnings on the label. Make sure there are warnings on the label. This body butter was created with nut oils. This body butter, it has fragrance inside of it, so that way our customer can know, like, hey, maybe I'm sensitive to fragrance, maybe I don't want to use this body butter because I am sensitive to fragrance. I don't know how my skin will react to it. And that's where you will suggest that they do a skin patch test to figure out, what works for them, and just to see if this works for them. Some people will say there's different things when it concerns nut allergy and using shea butter, because shea butter does come from the shea nut, right? So a lot of I've had that before where someone asks me if it will affect them, but you're not a doctor. You can't diagnose that. So you'd have to tell them that they would have to skin patch themselves, but make it be known it does come from a nut. Just like sweet almond oil. I used to put sweet almond, well, sometimes I do in my body butters, and I had customers that, say they can't use it because of sweet almond oil. That's fine. If you want to be inclusive, you can go ahead and use hemp seed oil. Sorry, hemp seed oil is actually a great substitute for shea butter, and just not, nut oils overall. So hemp seed oil, is a great option to use as well. So you can think about using that inside of it. And another tip I wanted to share, let's say you wanted to use the body butter for, let's say you wanted to create a moisturizing body butter, but you didn't want it to be too drying. And this is usually the case when using body butters in the summertime. Most of the time when people create body butters in the summertime, they don't want it to be too drying. So, people try to figure out ways in order to do that without taking away from the good properties of the body butter. So one thing I want to point out, what you can do is add in, so you have tapioca starch. I've personally never used tapioca starch inside of a body butter, but it is possible. So add tapioca starch to your body butter. You don't know what you might get from it. You don't know how it might work for you. So definitely think about adding tapioca starch to your body butter and see how that works. The next one that you want to think about is adding colloidal oatmeal. So I won't say colloidal oatmeal makes your body butter less greasy, but it does give it a nice powdery finish. And not to top it off, colloidal oatmeal is a way of adding oatmeal into your body butter without using actual oatmeal, right? So if you've ever wanted to do that, you can go ahead and do that to add, to add it to it. Hey, if you're just joining me, please like the live. Let me know. Definitely like the live. If you're just passing by, like the live. Sorry to interrupt if you're rewatching, but we do need you to like the live. We do need you to drop a comment. If you have a question, drop a question, to help put me in the algorithm. Yes. So, anyways, let me continue. As I was mentioning about colloidal oatmeal. So yes, the colloidal oatmeal is a great addition to your formulation. I use it in every body butter I've ever created. I use it in my business. It was a staple. I didn't go without adding in colloidal oatmeal. And as we were talking about signature body butters and signature body butter formula, I was one of the few who added in colloidal oatmeal in their body butter. And because of that, most of my customers know my body butter formula as it having in colloidal oatmeal. And was my signature body butter was a very moisturizing body butter, and it was a mango butter, right? And what made it my signature body butter was because of the scent. People really love that mango scent, like they really love it. The color, I added a little bit color in it. And when I just started, I used to use turmeric, and then it was a mixture of shea and mango butter. It had in hemp seed oil. Not a lot of people use hemp seed oil, but I added in hemp seed oil inside of it. And I think I added a bit of coconut oil. I'd have to check. But yeah, when you do it, think about those things that you could put inside of it to set it apart. Another item that I want to mention when talking about adding in additives to your body butter to make them stand out is arrowroot powder. Now, arrowroot powder is added into your body butter to create the same non-greasy effect. Earlier, I talked about tapioca starch, but arrowroot powder, it is A1 from day one. Like, it is very popular, and it is very popular for a reason. I think I've only used arrowroot powder in my body butter once, only one time. I've never attempted to use it in there again. It was okay, but I prefer to use I like using Colloidal Oatmeal, but and I also like when my body butter is not too drying, not too greasy. I like it to be mid. So definitely play around with arrowroot powder. Definitely play around with arrowroot powder. You never know what you can get from it. You never know if you might like it, if you don't like it. So definitely check that out and see if that works for you and your company. See if that works for, or even if it's not for your company, for personal use. If you want it for personal use, check it out and see if it works for personal use. You never know what you're going to get from it, right? Okay, so anyone has any questions so far? If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section. Say hi, like the video. Don't forget to like the video. If you're passing by, still like the video. It won't what do you call it, affect you. All right, so the next thing I want to go over is making your signature body butter. Now, if you're a beginner, if you're not a beginner, you might, you can just sit through this or skip through. But if you're a beginner, some of the things that I want to go over when you're making your signature body butter. So the first thing is, you want to make sure you have clean area, right? Make sure that this is a good walkthrough, but make sure you have a nice clean area. Your equipment and your tools clean. I do have a list of equipment that I used. I link them in the description to see if that will work for you. Ooh. All right, so we're going to go over some tips for consistency and texture. Ooh. Let's say you make, first things first, if you're going to make this body butter, let's say you're going to sell it, the first time you make it isn't the first time that you should sell it. I know a lot of us get really excited and think the first time that we make it, that's when we're supposed to sell it. But the first time you make it isn't actually when you're supposed to sell it. The first time you make it should be a trial and error. That should be when you're testing out everything. That should be when you're testing out the formula. That should be when you're testing out the fragrance to see if you like the fragrance. That should be when you're testing out with other people to see if they like it. That should just be your test phase. That should be when you're keeping it at home to see if it will last long. All of them things. So definitely think about that before you go ahead and go outright and say, okay, I am going to create this body butter and put it in the market, because I see people do that. I see people just create it today and already it is on the market. Sorry. And already it is on the market, which is a no-no, right? We don't want to put it on there right away like that. Okay, so let's say we had some tips for texture. Let's say we had shea butter in our body butter and we created a formula, and it was like, because one of the main formula that I see out there is 50-50. You can do 50-50, but you have 1 part shea and 2 parts oil. Now that formula can work, but you have to test it out and see if you like it, because I tested that and that's not, like, it's like an okay formula for me. Like it's okay. Sometimes I want it a bit thicker, sometimes I want it lighter than that, right? And then another thing you could do is like 50-50. So that's 50 shea butter, 50% cocoa butter, or not cocoa butter, 50% shea and 50% oil. And this gives you a certain texture as well, right? Let's say you create that formula and it is not up to par. It is a bit too rough. It's just not something that you want. Then you might want to say use cocoa butter. Let's say the cocoa butter now is very thicker. I will tell you that it is very thick. So let's say you create it and the texture is very thick. You might want to melt it down a little bit and add some oil. Now this is for you. Is not to sell, this is for you to try. So you can melt it down, add some oil to it, and see if you like that texture, or you can wait till you redo it again, add some oil, add in less butter, and see if you like that texture. Cocoa butter. So cocoa butter is a butter that is it has a mid texture. However, it adds a level of moisture to my body butters that I've never experienced with most butters. Like it is so moisturizing. Okay, so you can You can mix in coconut butter with shea butter to get you a nice signature body butter. That's one thing that when I made my lotion, sorry, that's one thing that I used as well. The coconut butter, it really took my body butter from here to all the way up there. Like it did what it needed to do. All right. All right. Any questions so far? No, no questions. Okay. I wanted to mention also is that if, let's say, the butter that you're creating or the butter that you're using has a high melting point, that means this body butter is going to melt very quickly now in the heat. Body butters do melt in the heat overall, but if the butter has a high melting point, it's going to melt even faster. Like it is going to go in no time. So you have to be careful about that when you're creating body butter. When you have to think about that because you have to think about shipping. Are you going to ship this? Is it going to melt? That has happened to me before. And ice packs, it's just a hot mess. And I don't and in order to combat that, you have to create a emulsified body butter. And an emulsified body butter is with water, and sometimes that takes a lot to create. And if you're just starting out, that's just something you want to steer far from until you can test it and understand how to do that, right? And also, if you want like more information on this, I do have videos where I'm doing step by step with free formulas on how to create body butters and how to make them in your business, etc., packaging, all of that. And I'll just link that in the description box as well. All right, so the next thing we're going to go over is some mistakes that you make when creating your body butter. Right, I have a form here. Let me go back up. Okay, it's not there. Okay. All right, yeah. So we want to go over the mistakes when creating a body butter. And one of the main mistakes I see is, well, I wouldn't say I have separation here, but I wouldn't say separation is an issue unless you're creating an emulsified body butter. An emulsified body butter has separation issues. That's something you'd have to think about if you're making an emulsified body butter. Separation, not the body butter not being properly emulsified, so it's the oil separating from the water. That is something you worry about if you're doing an emulsified body butter, but we're talking about just dry ingredients, oil based ingredients, right? So we can think about clumping and just having grains in your body butter. And the grains in your body butter is usually a result of you either one heating it up too much and then not making it, what you call it, cool down correctly. So let's say it's cooling down, and right in the middle of it cooling down, you start to mix it. It is going to clump up. It's not going to create that smooth texture that you're trying to create, right? You create it, and it now will create a smooth texture the way I go for. You have to melt it at a certain temperature. After you melt it, you wait a little bit, and then, sorry, after you melt it, you wait a little bit, add what you need to add to it, and then you want to go ahead and put it in your fridge. Now, depending, a lot of things that you will see will say 15-10 minutes. No, 15-10 minutes is based on how much, honestly, the amount of time you can put it in the freezer is based on how much body butter you use. Because 15-10 minutes isn't enough, especially when I'm making like a large jar or I'm making a big batch. 10 to 15 minutes is enough, especially you might have to put that in the freezer, especially with your large batch. So you want to keep that in mind as well. You want to put it to cool, make sure so it cool correctly. Once it's cooled correctly, you go ahead and start to add your additives. So if you want to avoid the clumping, the graininess, you have to pay attention to it when it's cooling. That part, the smoothness, comes from how it is cooled. So you want to take that into consideration when creating your body butter. And since we're in a time where everyone wants to, create their own, was I disconnected? This isn't only for someone who is trying to create a business. It is for the person who's just trying to do this for their family, trying to do this for themselves. It is for any one of us, right? Ooh, okay. Ooh. Oh, I should have had some water with me. A bit thirsty. If you are here, if you are passing by, please, please, please like my video. Leave a comment if you are, let's say you are watching this from the, ooh, yes, let me get this off. Let's say you're watching this from the reruns, from the replays. I am here. We're talking about creating a signature body butter and how to create it. So that's what I'm here doing right now. Sorry, I had to move that camera just a little bit. And now it's showing that up there. That's fine. Okay. Let's breathe. We can do this. All right. So number 4. Let me go up here and add this in. So number 4, in creating our body butter, we are going to go over scent creation and customization when creating our signature body butter. I want to also point out before I continue that if I'm saying anything and you're probably like, what is this? That's fine. You can go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. If you appreciate what I'm sharing, you can say thank you down below. Put me in the algorithm, help with my watch hours, and like the video. Right? All right, let's continue. So we're going to go over scent creation and customization. Scent development is, oop, scent development can come from you creating your own scents. That's number 1. That can look like you blending essential oils. You can blend essential oils or you can blend other scents to create your scent for your body butter. So that's something that you can think about as well. Which one works better for you? All right, creating a scent for your body butter yourself with essential oil, but that can become kind of pricey after a while, or creating a blend of other fragrance that you may have purchased, or just using a fragrance. Maybe you just purchase a fragrance online and use that exact fragrance for your body butter. Now, the difference is when you create your own scent, it can't be duplicated so easily, because when you're creating your own scent, especially with essential oils, you have to know the notes of each essential oil. So you can go, let's say you'd have to think about what suits your target audience. Is it floral? Is it citrus? Is it calming? Is it the what's the other one? There's one more. It has to do with musky, because it has to do with like men, husky, that type of scent. So if you're creating your own, you'd have to think about that. If you're creating your own, you also have to think about blending your essential oils. You know, if you're creating your own, you also blending your essential oils. Sorry. You'd also have to think about you're blending your essential oils, the properties in the essential oils, and the scent and the fragrance you might get from those oils. Right? So altogether, you have to think about that as well. But that can be beneficial. The benefits of that is it can't be duplicated. Like nobody can say they nobody can tell us them find your essential oil online, because how are you going to find it? How are you going to find my fragrance? They would actually have to get your body butter and try to share it with someone in order for them to be like, you know, them find it online. They had to get a chemist or someone to analyze it to get the scent, right? So you stand out in the market that way. So that is good. That's why I say I can do that. But it is pricey. Oops, sorry. But it is pricey. So that's why I'm like, the other option is just blending your own using pre-made fragrance, or just purchasing a fragrance that's already made. Any one of the yes. So, or just purchasing a fragrance that's already made. Purchasing a fragrance that's already made, I will say, removes the hassle. That much I will say it does. It removes the hassle. You don't have to deal with that. You don't have to deal with having to deal with sorry. You won't have to deal with having to testing it out. You won't have to you'll skip a step. I will say that. You'll skip a step. You don't have to deal with all of the extra stuff. So think about that when you're thinking about your fragrance. If you're joining, if you're just passing by, like the video, let me know what you think. If you have any questions, we are discussing creating a signature body butter for yourself or for your business. Have any questions on that, let me know. And yeah, keep coming in, keep joining. Ooh. All right, so let's move on to the next step. I feel like I'm thirsty. Ooh. Oh, hey. Thanks for joining. Can you like the live, please? Okay, so one last thing that I wanted to add into adding in your customized scent to your body butter is that the customized scent is great for branding and it can help you stand out. I think I mentioned that earlier, but I had to just reiterate that point. It is great for branding and it helps you stand out. So the next thing we're going to go over is branding and packaging. So branding and packaging for your body butter. So this part is for the people who are making this, maybe they're making it for a business, or even if they're making it for themselves, this can still help you, because even if you're making it for yourself, you still want to make sure there's at least a date on it so you know when you made it, what you put in it, and when it may or may not expire. So let's begin. So for branding and packaging, you can use, first of all, branding is really important, and packaging really important for brand identity so you can stand out in the market, and also so that you can basically them can set it apart from everything else on the shelf, in or around them, especially if you're at like a pop-up shop or something along that line. And choosing the right package helps to protect your product when shipping and protect your product when being sold, because if it's not packaged properly when you ship this product, you're going to have to end up replacing this and sending replacement, and you're going to lose money that way. So you want to be very mindful of the type of packaging that you use for your body butter. So one thing I will say, if you're just starting out, you don't have to recreate the wheel. What I mean by that, we can just use regular, you can go eco-friendly, you can order eco-friendly packaging online anywhere at this moment. You can purchase glass jars, you can purchase acrylic jars, clear, plastic. There's a bunch of options, right? But if you want unique designs, you have to also think about, if you're just starting, I think about pricing, unique designs are going to cost. They cost money. Unique designs aren't something that, you can just you won't be able to skip pricing if you want a unique design. So let's just put it that way. There's nothing wrong with a unique design, but just know you won't be able to skip pricing. So if you're thinking about pricing, then you might have to think about that. You're not going to be able to skip pricing if you do that. If you create like a unique design. So if you want to start now, and even if you're making it for yourself, girl, purchase your jars online. Purchase your items online. Quick time. You have Amazon. You have a bunch of options where you can go ahead and purchase this packaging for your products, that you don't have to worry about it. All right. Next thing I want to point out, let's say you do find your jar, but what else do you need to add into your packaging for your body butter business, your jars, etc.? You want to create a bit of a brand identity, and you're going to do this by, of course, something very simple. As I said, this is for beginners. So if you notice, keep scrolling. If you're new here, like the video. You want to think about your brand colors. Be very intentional with your brand colors. This is something that you don't want to have to continue to changing. I had to change mine at least 3 times. Not a good experience because it costs money, but be intentional with the colors that you choose. Make sure it reflects your brand. Based on the colors, you can go from, once you choose your colors, you can go from there. So, and name your product. When I say name your product, I'm talking about, like, so for example, I had a mango butter, but I think I had called it like a tropical mango butter, island mango butter, something along that line. And I was able, like, for example, like, I purchased this from someone. I made my own, but I still like support. So I purchased this, and you notice how they have a name for it. This is the Bonita apple balm. So it gives it a name, right? And that when you go to purchase it, it makes it cute. Some listen to me, when they have like nice fancy name for your products, it costs some of them, it draws for some reason, it draws in customers. Okay, it gives it this unique thing, like you're a part of a club. So my line was mostly tropical. So everything was like, mango, lavender. It was just, you know, tropical, very vibesy. Right? So I would suggest that you think about that. Let's say you have a line, your body butter is like bakery inspired. Maybe that's your line, right? Then go ahead and you name one cupcake body butter, cherry blossom, stuff like that. So when I mention creating names for it and giving your products names and things like that, that's what I mean, because it makes it relatable. It gives the company a bit of character, if you want to put it that way. It gives it a bit of character. So you want to think about that as well. If you're just joining, if you're scrolling by, like the video, you can say hi, any one of those. If you're returning, drop your comments in the comment section. I'll try to add some timestamps for you guys in the comment section as well. All right. So the next item we want to go over is some packaging tips. I want to just share some tips on this, if someone who's going to sell it or if you're doing it at home. Packaging and what you might want to put on your label when creating your body butter business. Things that you don't think you need to put on your label that you might need to add on your label, and ways how to make it. So some tips I want to share. So the first thing is, first, you're going to create a label. You've never done this before. You are on a budget. So if you are on a budget, I will say to DIY your labels, right? Let me tell you something. Get a simple template. And then if you're creative, if you're one of those people who are very creative, I also have a video of me creating my label. But let's say you're very creative, you're good with colors, you're good with drawing, you just have that creative bone in you. You can use that template and make a bomb label by yourself at home. The only thing with creating labels by yourself at home, you have to consider printing the labels at home. So that means you have another expense of papers to print your labels on, another expense of your printer, and another expense of ink. Now, a lot of people find this very convenient and much easier to do. And honestly, when you're just starting out and you have a few sales, saves you a lot of money. If you needed to change some ingredients, change the name of some things, you want to get rid of a product, you won't have a lot of like labels and stuff at home, because you're just making enough labels for the products that you create, right? So you can think about that as well as a business owner or potential business owner. Think about how you'll benefit that way when you do it from home. I would say, let's say you don't have a lot of customers, or you're not selling a lot. I would say in that way you might see a little bit of money from that by just holding on to the few that you have and making it at home. I would say you save a little bit of money. Now, let's say you have a little budget and you wanted to go ahead and create some more. You have a little budget, you want to go ahead and, get rid of something, one less problem, one less thing to deal with. Then I would say another option is have someone on Fiverr, Upwork, mostly Fiverr, because Fiverr is a bit cheaper, to create a label for you. You can go in and tell them like, hey, I want this label for this product. Give them an idea, pay them, and have them create a label for you. You then have the option of printing your label online. Say you're paying a printing company to print your label on professional paper, and with that printing company, most of the time there's a certain type of ink. I have to look it up. I can't remember the name of it. The waterproof one. Yes. So that way it doesn't run. Now, when I just started my business, I had labels, and whatever ink they gave me, I had a Canon printer. It didn't run. Now I have another printer. Of course, it's more like the regular printers. So it's going to probably wash off in water over time. Mind, it took a little while before it washed off, but eventually it did. So that's the perk of using a printing company. You have a professionally printed, you'll have professionally printed labels. You won't have to worry about the headache of creating at your home by yourself. You won't have to, you'll have peace of mind that your labels are being taken care of, printed the right way after you have somebody, who create it. So you can think about that as well. One thing I want to mention about the templates, if you are going to choose to create your own label for your signature body butter, you want to take into consideration the things that you need to add on it. Maybe I should make a separate video for that, but you want to make sure on your label you have, of course, your logo, the name of the product, ingredients. You want to have like this one, ingredients list. This one is one that I had. This was my business, and I made this years ago, but after I closed my business, I kept it just for memories and just for doing videos like this. I'm not sure if it's going to show, not show the logo, but yes, I would have the name of the scrub, the ingredients, you can't really see it, where it was made, and just a disclaimer of when it will expire, and also just a little saying underneath the name to basically tell you what, kind of have an idea what it's going to be used for, what it's going to do for your body. So you can think about that as well. Anybody have any questions so far, or are you just joining to listen in? Either way, thanks for joining. If you're here, like the video, like the video. All right, so let's go on to a bit of a Q&A before we wrap up. I did have some questions that I gathered that people were asking me. Some of them I think I'm going to answer in my specific Q&A video. Where is this? Is it here? Okay. Whew. Streaming. I look so clear on my camera, but looking at how it's coming through, it's a bit disheartening. All right, so one question that we may get is like, how do I choose the right scent for my body butter, and can I create custom scents? I think I answered that earlier. Earlier in the video, I did answer that, where I said you can create custom scents. It doesn't have to be, you can create it personally. I mentioned using the essential oils. Let's say you don't want to use the essential oils, you can create custom scents. You can pay someone to create custom scents for you online. You can pay someone to do that. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to point out is not only that you can pay someone to create custom scents, but let's say you want to create body butter, whichever one it is. Did you know that you could contact a chemist, a cosmetic chemist? You can actually contact a cosmetic chemist on Fiverr and look at their reviews, make sure them reputable, and they can create this formulation for you. So that is something that you can take into consideration as well. You can definitely check that out. You probably don't want to deal with the headache. You don't know how to create it. Yeah, got pay somebody to do it for you. Quick one too. And that is the same with the scent as well. Let's say you want a custom scent. You can't create it yourself. Don't have the time to create it yourself. No worries. That's fine. Find yourself someone who can create it for you. And why I say Fiverr is because they're not that pricey on Fiverr. I've been on there before, and yeah, not that pricey. So have them create it for you. Get rid of the hassle, because then even when you do that, you want to make sure that you're testing your products. So while I will hold on to the formulation and pay for it, I'm going to test it to make sure it does what it needs to do, right? And make sure you do it the right way. So you want to take that into consideration as well. So yeah, so I guess the answer to your question is yes, and I explained that you can create custom scents. Perfection. All right, so the next question is, how long does homemade body butter last, and how can I extend its shelf life? So homemade body butter is said to last 12 months, right? That's ideal. However, you have to take into consideration storage, what's inside of it, and where it's being used. and if moisture is getting inside of it. Because I can tell you it lasts 12 minutes, but that's when I keep it sealed. Let's say it is open, you're constantly putting your hand inside of it, so dirt is, little dirt and thing, and get inside of it. Let's say you use it after a bath. Sometimes little droplets of water might get inside of it, which will speed up the process, right? Which will speed up the shelf life. So you have to take those things into consideration. You also want to take into consideration the butters and oils that you may be using, right? Take into consideration the butters and oils that you may be using in this body butter, because I can say it lasts 12 months, but guess what? If you're using an oil or carrier oil that expires in the next 3 to 6 months, you better believe that that body butter will be expiring in the next 3 to 6 months, because an oil in there is going to go bad and that time, which will run over into everything else that is mixed inside of it. So it can't be that, hey, the body butter lasts an hour. It can't be that, hey, the body butter lasts 12 months and the oil lasts 3 to 6 months, but it's fine, the butters inside of it last longer, so it's going to work. You put in vitamin E oil. No, whatever you put inside it expire in a 3 to 6 months, then the body butter expires at that time as well. So you need to take that into consideration when doing your body butter. If you're just joining, if you like my answer to the questions, definitely I am accepting gifts. You're allowed to send me gifts on here as well, so you can do that. Feel free to do that. If you want to just help me by liking the video, you like my answer to your question, you can like the video, you can share it, whichever one, but any one of those option works. All right, so what's the other thing? What's the other question? Where am I? How do I choose? Okay. How can I make sure my body butter formula is moisturizing enough for different skin types? Let me say that question again. How can I make sure my body butter formula is moisturizing enough for different skin types? Well, you can do that by the butters and the oils that you choose to add into it. I don't know why my things are gaming. This is not gaming, but the butters and oils that you choose to add to it. The butters and oils are like, for example, you want it really moisturizing, shea butter, but you want it to go even further, cocoa butter. Mix those two together, bomb combination. Then you can take it a step further and add cocoa butter. Mix those three together with the right formula, because if you add too much of one, too little of one, it might be too soft, too hard. Mix those three together, chef's kiss. Very moisturizing body butter, okay? So you want to think about that as well. The next thing you want to think about, if you want it to be like moisturizing and long lasting, so while we have these three butters that work, these three butters that are long lasting, you need to also think about an oil that is long lasting, an oil that will keep someone moisturized throughout the day, an oil that is heavy but doesn't feel heavy. And one of those oils that I like to use is hemp seed oil and sweet almond oil, depending on if you can handle it. Those two oils are really great to use. So if you're thinking about, something to make you moisturizing enough for different skin types, you can definitely look into those two. Okay. Or there's more, but those are a few. Apricot kernel oil is moisturizing, but I will say apricot kernel oil is a bit heavier. Like it sits on the skin. So you can take that into consideration. And want to make sure that it works how you want it to work, you're going to have to test it. Don't just use it. Like I will continue to preach testing your products. Test them. Don't just put them out there. So the next thing we're going to add to this is, well, not add. The next question that we have here is how long can I make a vegan body butter, and what substitutes should I use for animal-based ingredients? So kind of strange question, because body butter vegan, like I'm gonna use unless you're creating a beeswax body butter. If you create a body butter and you add beeswax to it, then I will say, that's not vegan. but for the most part, and then you might want that you can substitute with calendula wax, right? But for the most part, it's vegan because you're using butters that are from nuts, cocoa butter, shea butter, coconut butter. The carrier oils are from flowers. So it's as, I mean, that's as vegan as it gets. If you find any another product that might have in non-vegan stuff, then substitute them, take them out, like beeswax, calendula. That's the only thing I can think of off of my head right now that wouldn't be vegan in a body butter. So you can think about that as well. Okay, so the next one. Let's go to the next question. Anyone has any question, you can add a question in the comment section and I will respond to it. If you're doing the rerun, definitely add a question in the comment section. How do I market my body butter business? Okay, so how do I market my body butter business and get customers to choose my product over theirs? You can do this multiple different ways. What worked for me was social media and word of mouth. So word of mouth for me was being at the Selden market doing my pop-ups. That was my word of mouth way of selling and standing out. You know, I was showing up, customers saw who I am, they could touch my product, feel it, they could try it in person. And definitely one thing I wanted to point out, to subscribe to my channel, because the lives that will follow after this will all be helpful, and I'm going to do one about doing pop-up shops as well. So yeah, pop-up shops, word of mouth, right? You can also do social media. Of course, social media is very, very, very important. And with social media, you're thinking about, it's definitely not gaming, I don't know why it says gaming. With social media, you are thinking about tickety talk. That is like one of the main ones. Don't know if it's going to be here so for new businesses, but for the time that it is, here, I would say to use it to its fullest potential. Use it as much as you can. Use it. Something that I did and couldn't do a lot is something that I did that, and I wish I did more of, was showing up in front of my business, not being too scared to show up. Not being too scared to show up for my business, you know. Put it on social media. Use social media for your business. That is your Instagram. That is, so wait, so you have Instagram and you also have TikTok, YouTube. Contrary to popular belief, if you own a skincare business, YouTube, you can use YouTube. Let me tell you why. You can make videos of you creating a body butter, and I feel like more people want to purchase it when they see I do that. Because what? Cause what? Let me tell you why. There is like, they might get closer. You create that know, like, and trust feeling with your potential customers, and they want to see it. And then, because let me tell you one thing, I posted like me making something on, what I posted it on again. I posted me making something on shorts, and somebody in the comment section wanted to purchase it, and I was like, you know, I don't sell it anymore. Yeah, I was like, I don't sell it anymore, you know, sorry to let you know, but I don't sell it anymore. And the person was kind of sad. I was like, you know, I have videos showing you how to make it, but I don't sell this anymore. And they were like, okay, cool, like, you know, them understand. But yeah, like, I use your social media. That will definitely help you. One of the best ways to market it, social media. And as much as pop-up shops might not be what they used to be, but having people see it in person really helps your business as well. Like letting sure that them see it in person and say, yes, this is the person who's creating it, this is who's here. Chef's kiss. All right, so what's the next question? Somebody messaged me. Okay. Is it possible to start a body butter business with a small budget, or do I need a lot of initial investment? It is absolutely possible to start your body butter business with a small budget. You don't need a very big investment in the beginning. You can do it by what do you call it? You can start small. You can start with $100. Let me tell you why you can start with $100. You can gather up shea butter. Let's start with a signature butter. No, I don't know how to make cookies. The only type of baking and creating I do is skincare, body butter business. So I would say to start with, what was I saying? You were saying if you could create a body butter business on a budget, do you need a upfront initial investment? Like $100. Why? Because you can start with a signature body butter. Start by that. And let's say the signature body butter is mango butter, shea butter, hemp seed oil, mixed hemp seed oil, probably like sweet almond or something lighter, and then your additives. You can get all of those with a small amount and complete, probably total $100. With that $100, you can also get a jar. What you can create from that is testing phase. Testing, and then try to sell it to other customers. Yeah, I don't make cookies. Is Sean up here? Okay, so can you guys not hear me? Make cookies. All right. So I'm almost going to wrap up here. What time is it? Let's see. Sorry about that, guys. It tripped out for a little bit. I thought I had an emergency. All right. So I was saying to the person who kept asking, I don't make cookies. I was also saying that you can create your body butter starting on like a smaller budget, which is about $100. Do your testing because you can get jars on Amazon, not only Amazon, like containers and packaging SKS. It's possible. Oh, not from Nature with Love, but Bulk Apothecary sell jars too. Good price. I hope they still do. So there's ways for you to start it. You don't have to do like an initial investment, like a big large sum. I can probably do a breakdown video of that. Let me write that down so I remember. We can do a breakdown video of the cost. Perfect idea. All right, so let me write that here. And I love, if you're new here, I love to write everything. Even when I'm making products, a book is going to come in handy because you need to write down the ingredients, write down what you're doing, write down how you're mixing up. I know this is a bit off topic, but it's important to write down stuff. At my age, I don't remember nothing, so I have to make sure someone writes it down. All right, so create, let's say, a video breakdown, and then I can post that. Let's call it a video breakdown of the cost of starting a body butter business. I'm going to take into consideration that when you're starting this, you do a test already, so probably put in a little cost for the testing as well. You can do that. Starting a body butter business. Yeah, maybe do the breakdown of the cost so you can have an idea. I think people need to have an idea of what it will cost them to create this business. So, because a lot of people, I think, when they think about creating a business, something that holds them back is how much it costs to create a business, and not knowing what they're like, not knowing mentally what they're getting into, and how this would affect them financially, especially with the state that we're in right now. A lot of people are going to think about the finances. So, business or just for your personal, it's good for us to know how much it costs to do all of this, and like if you're going to purchase the initial stuff, like the very important things, how much that will cost you. So that's a great topic idea, and I'm going to do a sit down video of that, and that's something to post and add up. I can add that to my workshop that we're doing. So this is number one, and we can add that to our long form video because we have some long form videos we need to post as well. All right, put this book here. All right, so we have another question, but I think I'm going to save that question for the next live that we're going to do tomorrow, because we're a day after the next. I'm not gonna tell you yet until we make 1, 2, probably 5. Yeah, so let's wrap that up. Let me tell you, summarize it. Thanks for joining. I want to let you know that by the end of this, we should have but now you should have notes on how to create your signature body butter. You should have tips and tricks to help you. You should have an idea of the ingredients that you will need. This was just a walkthrough, a talk through, probably going to make it a little bit of a podcast. But let's see. You should have those. You should have resources that I'm going to link in the description box. So subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of this. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see all the rest of the videos that are going to follow this, plus so much more and tutorials to help you create your body butters at home, or if you want to create it for a business. All right, so thanks for that. And tomorrow we're going to be talking, I think tomorrow is the one where we're talking about the pop-up shop, one of them, something. All right, so thanks for joining. See you in the community post when I refer this video. I do post in my community post a lot, so if you want to get in touch with me, you can see me there. Until next time, it was real. Bye.